Hi, and welcome to Tutu's Journey. Well, I have not been on YouTube for a minute now, so I apologize, but it's 2020 and it's time to turn it up. It's time to come on and do what you said you weren't going to do and have a brand new beginning and start with everything. Hi, I'm so glad you all can join me today. And from the title, you could see where we're going today. We're going to talk about, so you want to get married, huh? So are you sure you're ready for this? You sure you're ready to walk down that aisle? You sure you're ready to go to justice of peace? However you choose to do so, we're going to talk about it. Let's get right into it. First, let's talk about why you want to get married. Some people have different reasons for why they want to get married, and some of those reasons are not right. Being that it's my journey, I can tell you I've been married more than one time, and you just have to have the right reason for why you want to get married, as along with the fact of having the right person as well. Some people want to get married because they're lonely. Wrong reason. Get a puppy. Go babysit your nieces and nephew. Go take your children out for a hike. Do not get married because you are lonely. Then there are some other things that you can do. See, sometimes we sit back and we wait for other people to come into our lives to make our lives interesting. What about going out, making your life more interesting, doing things that you never normally do? For instance, take on a hobby, join some groups, some people that are doing some positive things, and you can surround yourself. I remember the lonely bug of seeing people going to the movies, people holding hands, walking in the mall. They're at the restaurants, and they're sitting with their significant other. That is a beautiful moment. But mind you, you have been in relationships before, and you know that every second and every hour is not peaches and cream. Actually, this is the best time that you have right now because you have the time to work on yourself, whether you're male or female. It's time for you to work on you. I've said that in other videos because it's so true. And you know how you feel like you're ready, and then you find out that you're not at all ready, especially after you get in a relationship. So the lonely bug, nip it in the bud. Ask yourself, do I want to get married because I'm just lonely? I want a companion. There's nothing wrong with companionship, but don't let the lonely bug be the only main reason of why you're trying to find a boo. Okay? All right. Well, I can get someone to help me pay my bills, get a second job, get a loan, do something else, get a roommate, but do not get married for someone to help you pay your bills. Women have different ways of paying the bills. Some approve, some not. What I did, since it's my journey, I got a second job. That's what I did. And it wasn't the easiest because I had 2 kids and I had to do it by myself. I was married and then I was divorced, so I was left with my 2 children who I love dearly. But you gotta get out there and do what you have to do. Now, I don't mean do what you have to do. Some people better differ, and they'll go as far as doing what they have to do. You know what I mean? I didn't choose that, and I was only 22 years old. I just got a second job. I worked like 4 hours. My eyes was like this by the time I got home, but I did it for 2 years. So my people who have these 2 jobs, have a purpose for that. Don't ever work 2 jobs and then you don't even have a goal set. You just trying to make extra money. Have a goal set of why you're working the 2 jobs. So once you reach your goal, you can give yourself a break. And you don't have to work and kill yourself. So have a goal set. But don't get married because you need somebody to help pay your bills. While they paying bills, they can either be taken from you or they can be adding to you. And even if they're adding to you, they might want back what they're giving to you. So, I mean, it could be a lose-lose situation. So that's not a good reason. Because you feel sorry for that person. Number 3. And you got those guys that really don't have it together, but you can see the potential. Us women who always feel, us women who always feel that we can help that guy. He's a good guy, but you don't understand. He helps me with the kids, or he's a good guy because he really has a good heart, and a lot of people can't see it. And that's why they can't see it, because it's not big enough to see. And you might need to back off until it gets a little bigger. Women, we cannot make a person change. We can assist. How about being friends until you can assist him to become the person that, and when I say assist, I mean have something like a positive attitude with them, encourage him. But we don't necessarily have to make everything a lover's lane as soon as we meet a guy. It don't necessarily mean lover's lane. So if you are with someone that has potential, but they just do not have the foundation to take care of you or take care of themselves or anything encourage them, push them. Hey, you a good guy. I believe you could do some wonderful things, but that don't mean that we got to be lovers. Right now, we probably need to be the best friends. So, and you might be catching feelings for them and stuff like that, but don't do the I feel sorry for you guy. God Almighty. If he really loves you, he'll do what he has to do. He'll get his job, get his foundation together to marry you. He'll do it. That's one thing about a man. If he loves you, you ain't got to chase him down. They'll chase you down. All right? My women who are tired of waiting. I'm so sick and tired of waiting on a man. I better get married this year. I heard that's already for 2020. I actually heard somebody say that. Look, let me tell you, you better wait. Don't be anxious to do something that the longer you wait, to some extent, actually can be better, because you work, especially if you're working on yourself. I don't mean just sitting back playing the game or playing fake marriage and never do anything. I mean when you're working on yourself, taking all the time you need to get yourself to be the best you that you can possibly be. So it can be frustrating waiting. Now we talking about, we ain't talking about years and years and years. We ain't talking like 10 and 9 and 8 years. Come on now. If you don't know you want to marry somebody within 8 years, 6 years, 2 years to me, then maybe you might need to move on from that. Yeah, you might need to move on from that, because I have heard so many different excuses. Like I've heard the famous, "Oh, I'm waiting on her to get it right." What you mean you waiting on her to get it right? You obviously ain't got something right. Either the person is, you're going to accept them the way they are, or you're not. And I think a lot of us have a tendency to create in our minds what we want, and then we try and turn the person that we meet into the person that we want. If that person, you want a wife that's quiet and maybe keep things extra neat and cook and clean the house all the time, and intimacy is off the chain, and slim or full figure, it's so broad, But if that person is not who you are with right now, don't try and create them into the person that you want them to be. Then guess what? That's not the person. Move on. You're going to have to move on, because it's not fair. I've actually had a dude wanted me to gain weight before. He wanted me to get larger. I'm not doing that. You leave me alone. I'll be a friend. And then you go find you somebody larger than me. But you ain't going to make me change my weight size because you like full-figured woman or women. No. And then, hold on. Now, women, like, we like for some of us, like for men to take charge and be the head of the household, take care of the family. If that guy ain't never had an apartment before in his whole life, how do you expect him to do that? If that guy has never had to take care of anybody else in his life, 100% take care of another person, how do you expect them to take care of you? I think we create people in our minds, because red flags are there all the time. if that person doesn't already have that foundation, you can't go into that marriage thinking that they're going to do it. Marriage is not this magic thing that turns a person that's not ready into a person that's ready. And sometimes we feel like once we get the ring, once we get the dress, once we have the wedding, it's all big, that this man is going to do every single thing that we feel a man should do. Guess what? Talk to him ahead of time and find out. If you've been with him for a couple of years, you know if this is the kind of man that you want to be with or not. Like I said, don't get bit by the lonely bug. Don't get bit by the this gonna pay my bills. Don't get bit by I'm feeling sorry for him kind of guy. Don't get bit by I'm tired of waiting. And please don't get bit by everybody else getting married. Do you know my friend got married? She ain't all that cute. But you know what? Let me tell you. You got some men that believe in loving a person from their heart. And I know women like to say all men are dogs. And you may definitely believe that. I mean, but they like to say all women are promiscuous and all women are what? We depend on men with money and that is not true. That is not true. All women got big mouths. No, a lot of women have big mouths, but not all of them. And then the ones with big mouths even trying to calm it down. So you can't pinpoint all on anything, you know. So everybody else just may be getting married, but you make sure you get married for the right reasons. You make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and not also the being bit by the bug of my children need a father. You might say, well, they don't have any uncles. There's nobody nowhere to help me with these kids. If that's the truth, you do the best that you can. You do the best you can. You find some mentorship somewhere. But you got to be careful these days. You know, we in 2020. And 2020, if like 2019, we know the world is not getting nicer. So be very careful when it comes to mentors. But don't let that be a reason to put somebody in your life permanent that is going to be their death to you part. All right. So we done went over a couple of reasons why not to get married. And this is only part one because I'm going to be reading some comments and getting some inputs from people who are actually going to see this video. But I wanted to start the year off because of the fact I heard a lot of people saying they better get married this year. So I thought I'd go down my journey and give you some reasons of maybe why you shouldn't do it. Because you got some days where I heard this lady that really loved her husband. She called him her king, and they had a beautiful relationship. She told me he painted her toenails, and oh my goodness, you know. But then one day she came to work and she was like, "That man just makes me sick." I was like, "What? Wait a minute, not the king, you know?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, you know, he's the king, but sometimes." You know, I be wanting to knock the king out. And I was like, huh? See, that proves that I was looking for, thinking, you know, they had this wonderful relationship and it's just like that all the time. No, you build that. You create that. And you create that in the beginning of your friendship and everything else. I know someone that's dating like crazy and they just not finding nobody for them. They're saying it's just, you know. And I also know someone who had been waiting. She was waiting for her Prince Charming or her Boaz. And the one that came around financially was good to go. But he was all over the place. He was talking to this one, probably doing everything else with that one and this one too, you know. And he started out all sweet and nice and all that. But, you know, he had a couple of red flags. I told her, no. I see too many red flags on that. Don't do it. And she didn't. And guess what? I said, that means the one that's really for you is not far behind. So be patient. Work on yourself. You know what she did? She went and she got not the tummy tuck, but you know how you get the weight when you get your stomach shrunk. She got that done. She's small, she bad, and she was always a pretty girl to me. But she ended up catching her Prince Charming. She's engaged. I'm so excited for her. I won't release her name since she didn't give me permission. But my whole point is sometimes waiting, and I won't say sometimes, waiting is best. It's best. Don't jump that broom until you know that you want to. And some of y'all who are watching me now about to get married, you might even be engaged. Make sure you ain't doing it for the wrong reason. Please don't do it, because it's like $500 to get a divorce, but you spending just as much more on the wedding to get married. So make sure you seeing the red flags. Hold off and say, wait. Let me make sure I'm doing this for the right reasons. And for my ladies who are actually waiting, please don't despise the wait. Work on you. Would you give your son a woman like you? How about that? And if you got some areas about you that you have to tell me no, then take some time. Use 2020 to work on you. Feel good about yourself. Make sure that you are a whole woman with a whole man to make a whole marriage. You know, I used to think, well, if I'm as whole as I can get, and then I find somebody that's halved up. I had somebody tell me that they wanted a cake mix man, meaning she don't mind putting all the ingredients. I ain't trying to put all the ingredients in. You got to come with some. I mean, some kind of ethics, morals, foundation, something I can work with. Now, I don't want to be putting all the ingredients in, you know. So, not a cake mix, man. No. We ain't got time for that. Because you got some dudes that hook up with females on purpose just so they can benefit off their resources. So that cake done failed, as far as I'm concerned. But I want you to have a great 2020. And guys, the same thing for you. Don't be going for all them girls. You know you don't want to. You ain't even interested in that girl for real. That you just get the benefits of. She dumb enough to give it to me. You dumb enough to take it. Be a man. Stand on your own 2 feet so that you can find the woman for you. So that then you can have something to offer a woman. I knew this guy that actually had got a house. And he didn't do anything to the walls because he said when he got married, he wanted his wife to do it. He wanted her to have the chance to decorate. Beautiful stories, beautiful stories. So hopefully 2020, this is your year, not only for marriage, but also for you to become a more positive you, to do things that you would like to do. Get a bucket list, some things you've never done before. Life is short, you know. We want to enjoy it. So Happy New Year, and I'll be back with part 2. Bye-bye.